the summer of 2018, my friends and I, Abby, Marcus, his younger brother Tim, Tim's girlfriend Hannah, and me, planned a weekend trip to the Blue Ridge Mountains. We were all in our early 20s, fresh out of college, and eager to completely disconnect. We picked a spot deep in the national park, far off the grid, where the trees were dense, the air smelled of pine and damp earth, and there was no cell service for miles. The first night was normal. We hiked in with our gear, found a clearing by a lake big enough for 3 tents, started a fire, and cooked hot dogs and marshmallows. We told stories, had some drinks, and stayed up late watching the stars. The silence of the forest was calming. It wasn't until the second night that things started to feel off. Around 11 p.m., we were still sitting around the fire laughing when Marcus suddenly froze and pointed into the woods, asking if we saw what he did. We all turned, but nothing was there. He swore he saw movement. Someone ducking behind a tree maybe 30 or 40 yards away. Tim brushed it off as a deer, but 20 minutes later we heard a loud stick snap in the same direction. This time it was unmistakable. Abby, clearly shaken, said she wanted to go to bed. We all agreed. We doused the fire, zipped up the tents, and tried to sleep. That night I woke up to something that still haunts me. Breathing just outside the tent, maybe 10 feet from my head. At first, I thought I was half dreaming, but it kept going. With 4 other people there. It could have been one of them going outside to pee, but I didn't hear a stream, just the breathing. It sounded like an older person, someone out of breath from smoking too much. I reached for my flashlight but didn't dare turn it on. The sound moved slowly from one side of the tent to the other, then stopped. I stayed silent, waiting, hoping it really was just one of my friends. When nothing else happened, I finally drifted back to sleep. In the morning, I didn't say a word, and neither did Abby. But over breakfast, Marcus looked anxious, like he was dying to tell us something. He said someone had been outside our tent that night. Hannah nodded, saying she'd heard it too, and that whoever it was circled the tent more than once. She thought it could have been more than one person. I asked if anyone had gotten up to pee during the night, thinking maybe that explained it. Tim said he had, but added that around 4 a.m. he thought he saw a figure crouched near the fire pit. We searched the area and found footprints circling all 3 tents. In one muddy patch there was a clear bare human footprint, not a boot or shoe. The prints led off into the woods and disappeared. We tried to joke about it, maybe a crazy hiker or prankster, but it didn't feel funny. That night we built a much bigger fire and kept our flashlights close, talking nervously instead of relaxing. Around 2 a.m., we heard it again, leaves crunching in the dark, and this time a low voice. Too quiet to make out, but definitely human. Marcus snapped on his flashlight, and for a split second we saw him, a man completely naked, crouched behind a tree. He scrambled back into the woods like an animal that had been caught. All of us were shaken. We were too scared to retreat to our tents. Staying together in the open felt safer. Hannah suggested packing up and leaving, but Marcus and I said no. Hiking back to the car at night would be dangerous and terrifying, especially if someone was following us. That night was the worst of my life. I didn't sleep for a second. Hours passed before I heard another stick snap in the distance. Under my breath, I whispered, "Please let it be a deer." After a few seconds of silence, a voice from the woods said, "I see you guys." It wasn't any of my friends. No one reacted, so either they hadn't heard it or were too scared to respond. Then something I'll never forget happened. My tent shifted slightly, and the zipper started to slowly slide down. I bolted upright and screamed at the top of my lungs, which made my friends start screaming too. Whoever was on the other side took off, I think. All I know is we were yelling to each other through the tents, panicked. I zipped the door back up, and after that there was no more breathing or footsteps. I didn't sleep at all, just watched as the first light crept into camp. At dawn, we packed everything and left. Even on the hike back to the car, the tension didn't lift. We reported everything at the ranger station. The ranger listened carefully and said there had been other reports. A man, maybe more than one, living out there. Some said they only stole things. Others said worse. We didn't ask what worse meant. We laughed it off in the car, but it didn't feel funny. I don't think I'll ever go camping again after that. Especially after the zipper incident.